After watching this movie, one thing went through my head. Why are there movies like this? Hey guys, it's Kevin again. If you guys did not see my last video, I am watching what people are considering to be the worst movies of the year. And I decided I would start off with a movie that I personally wanted to be good. When I first heard about this movie, I thought it'd be a fun movie. I thought it'd be just sort of like a fun popcorn movie that I could, it didn't seem like it'd be terrible. It looked like it would not be good, but I wanted it to be good. And that movie is Frankenstein. I don't even know how to say this. I watched Frankenstein, and this is going to be my review for it. So, Frankenstein, I heard pretty terrible things about this movie. I did not hear good things about it. So I thought, hey, you know what? I'm watching bad movies. Why not start with Frankenstein? It's short. It's good. It's something I can review to you. And, let's talk about this movie. First of all, Frankenstein. The plot of Frankenstein is one of the most basic plots I have ever seen all year. Okay, it is probably the most basic plot ever. Literally, this is the plot. I'm not kidding you. This is literally the plot. You have a monster Frankenstein, okay, or Adam, as he's called in this, which is even more ridiculous that they call him Adam. And of course, as expected, it's a modern-day version of the Frankenstein story. Wow, so original movie. That's so original. There is nothing else like that that's ever been done before. I'm looking at you, Twilight, okay? There's nothing like that that's ever been done before. Basically, Frankenstein's creature, he goes out into the world, and he finds himself caught out in a war between, two immortal clans, demons and gargoyles. And that's literally the plot of the movie. I'm not kidding. That's the plot of the movie, and it's just so stupid, honestly. It's so stupid, and that is literally your whole movie. And yes, like, protect this girl and everything, and we'll talk about it, but, like, it's just, like, that's the plot of the movie. It's so basic, it's so contrived, it's so been there, done that it's not interesting, okay? Let's think about many movies like this. Blade was like this, vampires versus werewolves. There are so many vampires versus werewolves, but of course that's not a thing, so now it has to be demons versus gargoyles. Like, seriously. Let's talk about the acting in this movie. There is one redeemable factor about this movie, and that's Aaron Eckhart as the main lead, Adam. He is trying his best here to do a good job. He is. He's trying his best to do a good job and give a good performance. And for what he does in the movie, I mean, there are some things about this movie that actually start off promising. The first, I'd say, 5 minutes of this movie, I was impressed. I was like, okay, this actually isn't that bad. I'm enjoying it. Maybe this isn't going to be as bad as I thought it was. And, it's like his origin story. I thought that was pretty well done. But then we get the action sequences we'll talk about. But I thought he did a okay job overall. Definitely he should not have picked this script because he has done some very good stuff before in the past. The Dark Knight, Thank You for Smoke. Nothing that I've seen, but I've heard these are good roles. I don't think I've actually seen an Aaron Eckhart movie before. Besides, I've seen some Aaron Eckhart movies, but, like, I haven't seen the really good ones that he's done. And it's really sad that he picked a script like this, and I hope that he has something else to fall back on after this, or else this is what we're going to be thinking of Aaron Eckhart until he comes out with his next movie. For what he did, though, he did try to do a good job. I mean, his voice was good. He was he did try to do as cool a job as he could. But my only thing is, he kind of took this too seriously. He did. He didn't have fun with it. If he would have had fun with the character, that would have been fine. Because the movie takes itself way too seriously. And everyone in the movie is taking themselves way too seriously. And I'm going to talk about that. Especially Bill Nighy. Let's talk about Bill Nighy. Holy shit, this was a terrible performance. Bill Nighy just... What was wrong with you, Bill Nighy? Bill Nighy, the whole time, is talking like this, like he has a speech impediment. That is how he talks throughout the entire movie. And he is so just... Every time he was on the screen, I almost fell asleep, okay? I'm not kidding. When he was on the screen, I was bored. I was not into his character at all. He was not interesting. He's supposed to be the big threat of the movie, and I didn't even find him interesting. I didn't. I found him laughable. I found him just really annoying, and I was never a fan of him. I thought he was really, really dumb, and just... He took himself way too seriously. Okay, if he would have had fun with it, I would have been fine with that, but he didn't have fun with it. That's one of the things I love about Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. I know a lot of you hate that movie, But that movie reminds me very much of this. This is a movie that could have been like that. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters is a perfect example of a movie that does not take itself too seriously, and this thing does. It takes itself way too seriously, and it shouldn't be, because if you could just... If they had just had fun with this movie could have been very good, definitely. Because when a movie like this doesn't take itself too seriously, I love that kind of movie. I really do. There are so many movies that don't take themselves too seriously. Like, for example, Resident Evil. That doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, the first one, at least, doesn't take itself too seriously, and that was successful. You know, there are so many, like, these popcorn movies that are just guilty pleasures that don't take themselves too seriously, and they're really good. But this does take itself too seriously, and I have a problem with that. Let's talk about the stupidest character in this movie, Yvonne Strahovski as Tara. I've seen Yvonne Strahovski in a lot of good stuff. You know, Chuck especially, she's very good in that. Dexter, which I did not see, but I heard she was very good in that role as well. She's terrible, because this is her character. She's introduced very quickly to Frank, and I agree with what Chris Stuckman is saying. Okay, Chris Stuckman said this, and I completely agree with him. Basically, she's introduced to Frankenstein, the demons, and the gargoyles like that, and they're like, okay, this is what you have to do, and she's just like, alright, I'm fine with that. She's not freaked out, she's not put off by it, she's just like, alright, it's fine. That's not at all weird, that's just a normal thing. It's not weird at all that, you know, demons and gargoyles are fighting each other. That's not weird at all. You know, it's completely normal. Like, she doesn't even think of it as, you know, she's not even put off by it at first. You know, maybe if she was put off by it a little bit, that would have made sense, but her character completely wouldn't. Not good at all. Just not good at all. And there's a point in the movie all of a sudden where she's like, what's going on here? It's like, sorry lady, it's too late. I mean, why didn't you think of this throughout the beginning of the movie when you were assigned to do this? Like, seriously. You're thinking about this now? It just does not make any sense. Miranda Otto, Miranda Otto. Awful. I'm sorry, just awful. Completely wooden. Again, takes herself way too seriously, and she was just awful. Completely terrible. Everyone else in this movie can just, they're awful, okay? I don't want to talk about the other people in this movie because they're not good. Definitely, they are not good. The directing in this movie. What the fuck? The directing in this movie, I hated. Because, I'm not kidding, the first 20 minutes of this movie, it's so confusing. It, like, goes to the past and the present and the past and the present. It's like, where are we? And it's, like, so confusing what's going on when that happened. And I thought the directing was terrible. I was not a fan of the directing at all. And just really, really bad directing. And the thing is, this guy who's done the movie has done a good movie, Collateral, which I haven't seen, but I've heard it's really good. And it's too bad that Stuart Betty did this, because it's not good. Screenplay is awful. I mean, screenplay is somewhat decent, but nothing special. You know, really nothing special. The cinematography... Cinematography makes me laugh hysterically, guys, because this is one of those movies where you look at the makeup job. You do. You look up the makeup job in this movie, and you laugh at it hysterically. There's a scene where it's supposed to be really intense with this guy with a really bad makeup job, and, like, Adam's beating the crap out of him, and it should be really serious, but it's hilarious because the makeup job is so bad. It's awful. Look at the picture of the demon. It looks terrible. Especially Adam, first of all. We're talking about Frankenstein here. Frankenstein is supposed to be one of the most disgusting creatures ever. He's supposed to be extremely disgusting, extremely, you know, people put him off, you know, extremely standoffish, and he's none of that. The only thing that he has is like some stitches on his face. That's really all he has. If he, like, takes his shirt off or something, there's no, like, stitches here or anything. No, it's just, like, it's just his face. Like, what? He's supposed to be extremely terrifying, and it didn't work at all, in my opinion. It did not work at all, and I was not trying, and the whole movie, they're trying to make you basically humanize Frankenstein. Frankenstein already humanizes Frankenstein, because Frankenstein was never a bad creature, he just was ugly and people were put off by it. That's the whole point of the Frankenstein story in the first place. So there's no humanizing Frankenstein here, because he's already humanized. Like, what's the point of that? I don't understand that, and I was not a fan of that at all. The editing is just, oh my god. This movie's 92 minutes and it felt like 2 hours. Like, that's how bad this movie was. I could not wait for this movie to be over. Okay? I couldn't wait. I wasn't even paying much attention to it because barely anything happens in this movie. Barely anything that actually makes sense happens in this movie. Most of this movie is like battle this, battle that, battle, battle, battle. And then some dialogue between Adam and Tara, and then more battles. Like, that's literally the whole movie. There's barely anything that actually is important that happens in this movie that actually made me interested in the movie. I will talk about spoilers, which is probably one of the stupidest parts of this movie, is the spoiler we're going to talk about. And just, that's really all I have to say for my review. Let's get to the... also, this movie might potentially have a sequel. Like, what? No. Please, no sequels. Okay? I've had enough of this. I don't want to see another one of this Frankenstein movies. I don't need to see another one of them. I've seen enough, and just... I've seen enough. Let's talk about these spoilers this movie, which is actually the most hilarious thing about this movie. If you guys have not seen this movie, who cares? Honestly, who cares? If you don't see this movie... It's not going to change you, okay? It's not going to affect you that much if you find out the spoiler to this movie. It's really not. The spoiler to this movie, I'm about to tell you, you guys are going to laugh hysterically at. I laughed hysterically to it, and it's probably one of the most hilarious thing about this movie. The title. The title is a spoiler. I know. I burst out laughing at the title. The title is a spoiler because the whole movie... Adam is trying to find his soul and everything. He's trying to find his soul. He's trying to basically go on this, like, immortal quest to find his soul and everything. He gets his soul, and he's like, I know who I am. I am Frankenstein. Frankenstein. And that's literally the last line of the movie. I laughed hysterically. I burst out into laughter because the title is a spoiler. Okay, I don't know how stupider you can get than to make your title the spoiler of this movie. It's ridiculous, completely, because, like, it's completely ridiculous, because finally he, like, finds his true self. He is Frankenstein, and, like, that's the spoiler of this movie. It's so stupid, and... For a while, it's like, why is this movie called Frankenstein if he's called Adam? And then it's like, oh, yeah, that's why. It's supposed to be, like, this big moment, but it's like, the movie's called Frankenstein, so it's a spoiler. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I'm sorry that the phone is ringing. I really don't give a shit that the phone is ringing, because I don't care about this review. I really don't. I literally don't even know why I watch this shit. I don't know, because this movie... I didn't hate it. I'm going to be honest. I did not hate this movie. As I said, there were some things that Aaron Eckhart did that I really liked. But again, everyone in this movie just took themselves way too seriously. And if they would have just had fun with it, then the movie could have actually been a good movie and actually been fun. You know, I would have been fine, because if it would have just been a fun movie, it could have been one of those nice, cheesy popcorn movies that you just watch and you laugh at, and you don't really care that there's not much of a story to it. No, you just enjoy and you have fun with it. There are many movies like that, and I'm fine with it if the movie was like that, but the movie's not. It takes itself too seriously. It's trying to make itself humanize Frankenstein, and it's just, I don't care about any of the characters. Never at any point in the movie do you care about any of the characters, not even Adam. Just because Aaron Eckhart's doing a good job does not mean you care about his character. I did not once care about his character. I didn't. There was nothing about his character I cared about. There was nothing interesting about his character, and nothing that really made me, like, sympathize with his character or anything. So, that's really all I have to say about I, Frankenstein. So, I, Frankenstein is just awful. Awful movie. I don't know why I watched it. I just decided to. I decided to watch bad movies. Please do not watch this movie. If you do want to watch this movie, go ahead, watch it, but you're probably not going to enjoy it. If you want to have a good time with this movie, go watch Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. That's a movie you can have a fun time with. This movie, you cannot have a fun time with. It takes itself too seriously. You can laugh at the makeup job, but it's not one of those movies you can laugh at throughout the whole thing, because it's not always funny, okay? There are some parts where you can laugh at it, like Bill Nighy. You can laugh at pretty much anything Bill Nighy says because he has, like, the most ridiculous voice ever. But besides that, it's not really a, you know, so bad it's good kind of movie. It's a movie that's just so bad, it's bad. It's not a movie I want to watch again. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But that's it, my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. Please do not watch this movie. Just don't watch this movie. Okay, if you know it's good for you, don't watch this movie. That's been my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will definitely be for something better than this, okay? I'm going to tell you guys right now, my next video is definitely going to be for something better than this. It will be probably for The Walking Dead, or maybe another movie review if I watch another movie. Maybe I'll review another terrible movie. I don't know. I really don't know if I want to suffer anymore. I didn't suffer too much through this movie, so maybe I should watch an even worser movie. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for whatever it is. Alright, bye.